All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Cold Open Cup quarterfinals match. This time we are back with a losers bracket match in Retail Store versus the Untrillables. My name is Dynascape, and I am joined today by Sparky. Sparky, how are we feeling on this fine afternoon?
Feeling absolutely fantastic. Always excited to hop back in the commentary booth. Bit of a busy weekend for myself, but always glad to catch at least some of the action as we dive on deeper into this quarterfinals weekend. Already starting to thin the herd even further, see who's going to be going into that second half of quarterfinals weekend and who's going to be punching their ticket into the semifinals. We have, as you mentioned earlier, Retail Store going against the Untrillables, despite what you see on screen. This is two different teams than what are staffed currently here. We got Retail Store with Ketsu, Trido 2, and Pixel Yoshi, and the Untrillables with Plausch and Lamp.
Yeah, and it's great that you mentioned the players because I think it is important to note in this match that I feel it is going to be a very polarizing matchup as Plausch and Lamp are absolute demons when it comes to Rice. Honestly, very, very high placements throughout and just very, very physical players as we've seen in their past matches, whereas Ketsu Pixel Yosh and Trio 2 are extremely well-rounded, having Pixel Yoshi as that anchor for both LN and Rice, and being able to swap between Ketsu for Rice and Trito for LN has been such a boon to them and really explains why they've gotten so far in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side, Lamp and Plausch, as you were mentioning earlier, just kind of running the gamut, basically taking names, very bottom of the upper half of the bracket, and have been pulling off some pretty interesting upsets, if I do say so myself. To their credit, they have been a pretty well-rounded tandem. I think they're one of the few two-man teams left in this tournament. Everybody else having that luxury of being able to substitute in and out.
Yeah, but not for Plausch and Lamp. They are duking it out together on the field, so you will be seeing them throughout this match, no matter what is picked. We did have Ketsu with the, I guess, tactical fail, so they wouldn't have to play through the map anymore. It's always very funny to see someone fail out of a warm-up. And so we're going to go ahead and get into the other one. This is going to be Ketsu's own map.
Yeah, this one, I think this one has a bit of a storyline to it. I think Ketsu, like literally an hour before this match, was trying to make a cut version of this chart. Thankfully gave proper credit in the difficulty name to try and squeeze it in under the 4-minute limit that we have for the warm-ups.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. I guess the drain time is probably less than 4 minutes. This is gonna be Electromagnetic Stealth Girl, born in Philadelphia. I kind of want to see this map, so hopefully it doesn't happen again that we get someone failing out of this. But with a star rating of 4.44, that is highly unlikely.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I only know the 7-key map set of this that was used in last year's 7-key World Cup, so it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how people have translated it into 4-key.
Yeah, I mean, as with all Camellia songs, I'm gonna assume that it's pretty hybridy, like a lot of bursts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Some concerning messages going on in the lobby IRC chat. Heartburn is no joke.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have something like one of the players.
Don't throw up on your keyboard, please, for the love of God.
That would be really bad too, just throwing up on your keyboard.
I mean,
the worst kind of hardware issue you could have, right?
True, actually true. Wouldn't have enough time to get that dunked in something to absorb all the liquid, but it's. nerves are a thing.
Yeah, at that point, I think you would just like have to soldier through it and really go for the win. I mean, anything for the cold open cup, right? Gotta play to win.
Listen, you gotta become the king somehow, but oh boy, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully nobody ends up getting sick all over their keyboard. And let's get into the second warm-up. After this, we'll be getting into the all-important roles, protects, and bans.
Yeah, and if Retail Store did their homework, I hope that this map has at least some kind of LN representation in here to really test how confident they'd be going in to the LN picks, because I assume that is what they're going to be doing, banning a Rice pick from the Untrillables and then protecting one of the LNs and possibly delving into the hybrids later on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are some particular LN maps that the Untrillables are going to want to avoid here, so maybe that that role is going to be very important to make sure that they can at least guarantee themselves that first protect. Ooh, SV, and a disconnection right on the drop.
So we get a little secret magician's magic trick. You get the player from Retail Store out of the lobby.
The SV was so hard that it literally crashed their computer.
Yeah, it's similar to Eswatini's warm-ups where they just break space-time and something just goes horribly wrong without fail.
Yeah, but going back to the conversation on the protects and bans, I think that there's a very particular map that may be drawing some attention here depending on who wins the role, and so far it's been a pretty avoided pick.
Yeah, I can I can take a guess at which one you're thinking of. We're gonna have to see if that's gonna be represented yet again in the protects and bans section.
Yeah, and then for the Untrillables, I mean, pretty well rounded on Rice. I think they tend to opt to go for the more physically demanding picks. So at this point, they all require some level of physicality. I think we might have evened it out a little bit more compared to last round. So maybe there's not something that stands out as much as last round. But I mean, when you have pick of the litter, you just go with whatever you consistently can score on.
Exactly, and I think that the Untrillables are honestly just gonna go with their comfort picks and probably just pick something like Rice 1, Rice 2. Just like go down the line, right? Throughout this match.
I mean, could even go a step further, just roll 6 and then pick whichever one gets landed on.
Yeah, just whatever you're really feeling. Other than that, with the warm-up being almost done with, I believe Pixel Yoshi might have rejoined the lobby. Cheeto's still in here, so it's good that the Retail Store does have that third player so that, you know, they don't auto-lose. Just like we've seen in one of the matches earlier last night. I believe that was Cookies Lovers against Shinkansen. Unfortunately, Shinkansen did have to drop out because one of the players had to go mid-match. So again, Retail Store still in it to win it as this map closes out.
Yeah, that unfortunate circumstance of life sometimes getting in the way of good tournament runs. You hate to see it, but it is what it is. I try and take them as they come and just try and carry the torch from there.
Yeah, not as much LN as I'd like to see, but I imagine that Retail Store cares more about the funny name and the silly warm-up. So they will get that in. Ketsu doing really well to match Plowshin Lamp's accuracy overall. However, it's just the slew of misses really dampened the score.
Yeah, the good thing is that you can't win in the warm-up, but you can definitely lose in the warm-up. You don't want to spend too much energy. That might be a fraction of the effort that they wanted to put in there. Oh, their power went out for a second. That explains it.
Ooh. Oh man. Okay, yeah. Hopefully that does not happen again, and especially mid-match. If it is gonna happen, maybe, you know, hopefully it's in the first 30 seconds / first quarter of the map. Though, yeah, that is their anchor having a bit of an issue.
Alrighty, and it looks like... Oh, the rolls happened, and Bancho ate the message, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I guess we didn't see it, but Retail Store did win the roll, and they are opting to protect first, so they did go ahead and say protect LN1, which is pretty much to be expected. Pretty comfortable pick, I'd say, for them. It seems like that is going to be their game plan going forth in the match. Just pick every LN and hybrid possible. So now it is the Untrillables' turn to get their protect in.
Yeah, this still feels like every rice pick is on the table. Just pick your favorite one. Regulars might actually have a bit of a shot. I know when I was testing that map, it was kind of annoying to get a consistent run in on it.
Oh yeah, I think that as the rounds get more difficult, it is especially hard to get very consistent runs in some of the maps. Gonna say, like, specifically looking at stuff like, you know, LN2, LN3, stuff like Rice 4, I think it's either you sink or you swim, right? But when it comes to really looking at the LNs, I'd say they can be very volatile.
Yeah, for sure. And zero surprise, you got the Rice 1 protect, immediate LN2 ban. Nobody gonna be getting Joji'd this match.
Yeah, no one getting Joji'd. Once again, we do see
cowards.
The LN2.
Cowards.
Yeah, absolute cowards. Scared of inverse once they pop out. I don't think we've seen it in the
3-star LN.
I know, right? People were talking about 1-star LN, but 2-star LN, come on.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far. No, but in reality, it is a very difficult map if you're not very used to dagger releases, inversey like patterns, just slow coordination heavy, like actually having to devote a brain cell to playing the map LN. It's very hard. Definitely cannot blame players for not wanting to play it.
Yeah, I think that was the one we were talking about in the warm-up. That one is gone. So Retail Store probably gonna try to grab off points in LN1, LN3. Pretty common occurrence is Hybrid 1 being immediately picked as well. That is quite a popular map for the teams that really lean into the LNs. But Ketsu gonna go ahead and ban Hybrid 2 for Retail Store, which is the that's the LN leaning hybrid. So a bit of an interesting choice, but I guess they don't feel comfortable enough and think that they can maybe take on the Untrillables when it comes to Rice Ag.
Yeah, that one's definitely having a bit of harder Rice patterning, despite it being maybe LN leaning in overall structure. I think the in-between stuff might be a little bit too much to handle, but with that being said, looks like we're gonna get underway here. Retail Store up to pick first, immediately going into the LN's gonna be picking LN3 here to start things off.
very solid choice by them. Kind of seems like the only option. You've got LN1 covered, so you just want to go ahead and pick something that isn't your protect. And LN3 seems like the right choice. Gonna have to see how the Untrillables do when it comes to denser LN side of things. However, I think that it is still, again, pretty volatile as a map, and you can choke a lot of either 200s or misses. So Pixel Yoshi and Judo 2 not out of the water at all.
Yeah, it definitely lends itself with these denser LN picks. I think this is the first time we see a real emphasis on like 1/4 patterning with the LNs. It'll be interesting to see how Lamp and Plausch approach this. I know some players, once things get denser, they start playing those shorter LNs like Rice and maybe tanking some of the judgments to try and hold on to their combo. But I mean, who knows? Maybe this is like a skill set that they might secretly lean into, and Retail Store might have played themselves into a bit of a trap here. Remains to be seen. But we are going to get into this first map of this best of 9. First team to 5 points. We're moving on, and we'll be saying goodbye to one of these teams before this match is over.
Yep, and as it starts off, Lamp a bit shaky, and as well as Plausch dropping already. Lamp taking a bunch of 200s as well, still under that 98 mark as we get halfway into the combo cap. And Trito and Pixel Yoshi are doing just fine, at least when compared to the Untrillables.
Yeah, this introduction very coordination heavy before the density starts to ramp up, and the Untrillables definitely not looking very comfortable on a pick like this. Lamp finding the drop as well. Both players finding misses here, as both players from Retail Store, Pixel Yoshi and Trito 2 holding onto their FCs for the moment, going into the second, third out of the map, and this lead is quickly ballooning out of control. But I think this is one of those moments where it's to be expected. Lamp finding another drop as things start to calm down. And if you're the Untrillables, the one good thing is that you were never going to pick this in the first place. So best get this out of the way early, rip the band-aid off before it gets used against you later on in the match.
Definitely, and Pixel Yoshi Trio 2 doing so well to hold full combos. Neither of the players on the Untrillables having that full combo, and Lamp still trying to get the combo cap, and Trio 2 does take a drop. However, it's not going to matter much when you look at how big that red bar is. As we get into the last third of the map, Retail Store just has too great of a lead, and Pixel Yoshi is just too strong on this LN pick. Seems so comfortable. I can't imagine them losing.
Yeah, that being said, Plausch, able to recover from their earlier drop, now has a bit of an accuracy advantage over Trito 2. Very small, however, as you start to get into this last little key ice section. Lamp finding a plethora of misses before transitioning into this segment, but Pixel Yoshi holding on to the highest accuracy, going to be able to keep any sort of advances at bay as this map starts to come to an end. Retail Store really taking off here with this first map pick and starting this match off 1-0.
Yeah, it just seems like garlic to a vampire. It's like noodles to Lamp. Really unfortunate misses and slider breaks. Ends up with a pretty alright 9-14. However, that is going to be the bottom score of the lobby by quite a bit. Pixel Yoshi finds themselves with a 979 FC. So that is really, really well done by them. Helps them secure the first point. So the Untrillables up next to bat, and we're going to have to see which Rice map they're going to go for.
Yeah, as we get a bit of DJ Banjo in the house. Looks like the Untrillables are going to opt to go for Hybrid 1 here. Bit of a banger.
Oh yeah. So shout out to Sparky for putting this one in the pool. I mean, I think a lot of us had some interactions with this map prior, and we thought it was a good slot. So, yeah, just again, thanks Spark for putting this one in the pool because I really enjoy it, and I think a lot of the players so far have enjoyed it based on how many picks it's got.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's a nice balance of LN difficulty to the Rice. I feel like the transitions in between kind of keep you on your toes one way or the other. That being said, the density isn't the highest, so I'm not surprised that the Untrillables would want to try and go for something like this very early on, because they know they have the entirety of the Rice pool to kind of fall back on. That being said, this can definitely take a turn for the worse if they drop too much accuracy in some of those more LN heavy sections. I know it's very easy to drop 200s as this map progresses. So we'll see how they do, see if they can answer back, or Retail Store is going to find the first breakpoint in this match.
Yeah, I think the big thing with the LNs is that they don't start and stop on the same snap. So you're not releasing with one finger and immediately hitting with another. There's like, I think, an eighth snap in between them. So I think a lot of players have been struggling to really get that timing down, getting either early or late 300s at the start. And of course, releases have always been the bane of players when, you know, dealing with LN. So we are seeing a lot of interesting I guess releases as well. At the start though, Retail Store doing very, very well. 99.66 by Pixel Yoshi and Trito at a 99.7. Both players from the Untrillables are at a lower accuracy than their counterparts.
Yeah, but very importantly, holding on to their combos here a little bit longer than on LN3 here. Maybe might be able to capitalize on any mistakes coming out from Retail Store, but we'll see what happens when we jump into this more tricky LN section. Still relatively easy to read through, but definitely don't want to find yourself sleeping on some of these patterns as we make our way into the second third of the map. The lead still firmly on red side, both Trito and Pixel Yoshi taking a bit of damage here, dropping below that 99.7 range, but still over 2/10 ahead of their respective counterparts on the Untrillables.
Yeah, both teams doing very, very well in that ending section there. Get a little break just to see. I know a lot of players do play with the leaderboard on, so I mean, it must be nerve-wracking to have that break and see whether or not you're leading and by how much you're leading. So gonna have to see in this back half if the Untrillables can stage a comeback. Though possibly it might have to be in the form of a drop from Retail Store.
Yeah, all it takes is one little overhold on any of these LNs, or maybe just misreading some of those jump drill transitions. I know it goes from straight 1-4 to gallops, and so far everybody's managed to handle those transitions very well. As we get into the last quarter of the map, a bit of a halftime breakdown here as we see some damage coming out from Trito. Going to damage our actually just a little bit here, but not too much to really give Retail Store any sort of concern as we make our way into this last eighth of the map. And as we continue here, Lamp and Plouch doing everything in their power, still holding on to their FCs here. Very impressive to recover on a map like this compared to how LN3 went, but as things stand, they're really going to need to hope for a break here as this map starts to come to an end. There's really not a lot of surprises left in the chart, but after playing for close to 4 minutes here, concentration can go, but
yeah, quite a very unceremonious ending. There's not too much, and I think Pixel Yoshi might secure that 990 that they've been looking at. Lamp, honestly, as you've said, both players from the Untrillables have done very, very well to bring back up their accuracies from the first half. I think Lamp was sitting at something like a 99.15, something like that. So to gain that much accuracy in the back half is a very good performance. However, when your opponents do have a 990 and a 988 on board, there's not too much you can do. Very good scores again by Retail Store, clinching that second point and a break point at that, Retail Store is going to have that pick to try to get a 3-0 lead, and LN1 is still up for grabs.
Yeah, I don't see a world in which Retail Store don't go straight into LN1 pick. Haven't needed to rely on Ketsu to come in for any of these rice charts. Trito and Pixel Yoshi basically uh, doing the bulk of the heavy lifting right now, as I mean, the strategy kind of lends itself to it. You're going up against a very rice leaning team. Might as well put them through their paces while those maps are left on the board. And then once the time does come to play the rice, you have a very fresh Ketsu coming in to try and take more of those breakpoints away. So race to be seen. Oh, it's gonna be rice 6 actually. Okay.
Wow, Machine Gun Pomdal coming out. Quite an interesting pick. However, I don't really doubt it, because from what I've seen, honestly, is that Pixel Yoshi and Ketsu are very, very good at accuracy. I forget if Lamp and Plausch are super good as well. That remains to be seen. But I mean, there's a reason why they placed so highly and have been such a good team in the losers bracket. They've done so well to hold off on all fronts. So Rice 6, a bit of an interesting pick, but we're gonna have to see if it works out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've been leaning into picks like this in prior rounds. So maybe this take on Tech might be a way for them to try and take back that break point. But if Retail Store is going to be the one picking this, then they definitely have some comfort in playing picks like this.
Yeah, Lamp taking a couple of 200s at the start, unfortunately, gonna damper their score, and possibly that might really make or break the run for them. Because as you can see on the other side of the screen, Pixel Yoshi and Ketsu are both hanging off at a 99.8. So Plausch has some work to do, as well as Lamp, if they want to secure the point.
Yeah, that being said, Plausch not too far behind, making some inroads here as Ketsu starts to fall just a little bit below that 99.8 range. Plausch in striking distance to try and capitalize. I mean, to be fair, the Untrillables actually able to maintain pace at the moment as we make our way into the second third of the map. Leads only a couple thousand points between these two teams. It's really just going to be whether or not Lamp can build up the accuracy just a little bit to try and back up Plausch as they try and make this advance. But that being said, Ketsu and Pixel Yoshi climbing as we make our way into the back half of the map. It's going to be a long road ahead of them for right now.
Yeah, Pixel Yoshi and Ketsu in sync in terms of accuracy. Plausch doing their best to try to get up there, however, does take two 200s and drops from 99.6 all the way back down to a mid 99.5. Lamp has recovered, however, it is not going to be enough yet. 99.43 from them. It seems like at this point, with only about a fourth left in the map, we're going to need to see a break from Retail Store. Maybe a break and more.
Yeah, for sure. Last eighth of the map to go. Don't get me wrong, these are some very impressive performances coming out from the Untrillables. Lamp and Plausch bring up some very respectable scores, but there's one of those things where you separate those good teams from the great teams, being able to maintain a high level of accuracy and consistency as we make our way deeper into tournaments. And right now, I think we're seeing a bit of that separation start to develop here, because that bread and butter of the rice isn't going to work out here in Retail Store. Going to be taking a third point here against the Untrillables.
Yep, securing their second pick against the Untrillables. They are going to go up 3-0. And so the Untrillables are tasked with finding a rice map that they can overtake Retail Store in. And I think that either Rice 1 or Rice 2 might be the play. Maybe Rice 2, because it is quite physical, and that is what Lamp and Plausch are good at.
Yeah, right. You are might need to come out sooner rather than later. Could potentially be the Untrillables' last pick in this match if they don't manage to find a point here. Uh, I mean, to be fair, help is on the way. Rice 4, in its own right, is a very polarizing pick because when it comes to court jacks, all it takes is one mistake to really swing the tide of a match. Could that be up for consideration, do you think?
I think it could be, but I would say it would be better off later in the match because after seeing Ketsu and Pixel Yoshi's scores, the Untrillables have to know that they are just good inherently in accuracy. However, the Untrillables are gonna throw that Hail Mary, gonna go for Rice 4 and see how they fare. Again, really, I just think it's up to a miss on this map.
It's either ratio battle or one person misses. That's pretty much how black and white a pick like this can be. That being said, once you start trading them back and forth, everything goes out the window. So remains to be seen how Lamp and Plausch's nerve will remain as we dive into this. This is one of those picks, like I said, can go south very quickly.
Yeah, and that is true for either team. Really does ride on that one miss that could happen in match, and you only get one shot at it, so they have to make it their best. Pixel Yoshi and Ketsu are going to try to keep that accuracy as high as possible while maintaining combo, and Lamp and Plausch are going to have to see if they can take the first Rice point against Retail Store.
I believe in them. They've managed to pull off some pretty surprising results against very good opponents. And sure, they might find themselves in a hole early on in this match, but things can change. I mean, you just need one pick to go your way before you find yourself rattling off 2 or 3 in a row, answering back. That being said, Retail Store does still have LN1 in their back pocket. Should they so feel the need to choose it. And you would imagine if they win a pick like this, they'll close the match out with something like that. They know they have an advantage there. And as we make our way into the second third of the map, this is basically just a primer for what is to come. As we get into the more anchory section, a lot of 3-note chords dotting the landscape here. And we see more of the same here. Pixel Yoshi and Ketsu holding on, but there's a 200 from Ketsu, dropping them down to 99.5 range, and it brings the Untrillables back into contention. Plausch now ahead by his narrow margin, but it's really Lamp. As I say that, Plausch finding the break, and that might be the one that breaks the camel's back here. As we make our way into the last third, that miss very significant, and another one on the transition is going to make things go from bad to worse here as the Retail Store starts to take this lead and run with it now.
Yeah, it's blow after blow after blow for Plausch. Really unlucky, but honestly still holding a 99 after 3 misses is very impressive. Ketsu finally gonna find a break, but Plausch immediately trades it back. Ketsu finding yet another one. Lamp and Pixel Yoshi with the only 2 FCs in the game, albeit Pixel Yoshi at a whole percent up from Lamp. And really, as the map closes out, the score speaks for itself. Retail Store is gonna find themselves secured with the 4th point in the match and a pick to go with it.
Yeah, there were some opportunities there, but unfortunately, blinked one too many times, and that's just how picks like this can go. And Retail Store on match point, 4-0 up. You would imagine that LN1 is not long for this world to be picked.
Yeah, Retail Store still having that LN1 pick is going to be fired off by Ketsu. This is the warning bell and last call for the Untrillables to stage something and try to get a point in and mount a comeback.
At least they can end it with a banger.
Oh yeah, that is very, very true. We are gonna see Ketsu subbed out for Trio 2, the LN player of Retail Store, along with Pixel Yoshi. And I mean, again, it's just such an uphill battle for the Untrillables. I mean, you were fighting such a well-rounded team. It is extremely hard to take a point off of these guys.
All right, it's been a hell of a run. We can't talk as if though they've already lost. There is still the opportunity. Who knows? A couple of misreads here and there, maybe a slider break, and if they can keep themselves within striking distance, maybe they won't have the accuracy advantage, but if they can keep two FCs on the board, they're just in with a shout, and you just need your foot in the door to mount some kind of comeback. So remains to be seen. It's gonna take a Herculean effort, but like I said, they've done it against equally as strong opponents before. Let's see how they do here.
Alright, Trio 2 gonna start off with a couple of 200s, though Plausch is gonna take a very, very early break. If you are gonna break, that is the best place to do it in the beginning of the map before anyone can really get the combo cap going. So it still remains to be seen. Lamp with a very good 99.75 top accuracy in the lobby, and Pixel Yoshi struggling just a little bit at a 99.3. Creeping up right behind him is going to be Plausch.
Yeah, and the only reason this lead's extending for the red side is the fact that both players from Retail Store hit that combo cap before Plausch did. But that being said, even with that miss, 99.3, Lamp does find a couple of 200s to bring them back down to earth a little bit. And now Trito, Lamp finds the break as well. No more FCs left on the side of the Untrillables, Trito and Pixo. Starting to run away with this a little bit. 99.5 and climbing at 99.3 in support compared to the 99.38 from Plausch. Lamp not too far behind as well.
Yeah, I think that Pixel Yoshi and Trito 2 don't have glamorous accuracies like we've seen from some of these players this weekend. However, it will be serviceable. I mean, a 99.4 FC is really all you could ask for, and especially when both of the players are doing it, that's gonna beat like 90% of the teams in this tournament still, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have one person that can overperform. If you don't have that supporting combo, kind of gets thrown out the window. So having teams that can, or having a composition that can stay balanced and match each other step by step is really what's gonna lead to these deep tournament runs. And right now, Trito and Pixel have been relatively in sync so far this match. They have been the two mainstays as they've played most of the lower half of the map pool, only needing that cameo appearance from Ketsu to secure that one rice pick. And Lamb gonna find another drop on the transition into the last key eye. Last quarter of the map left to go, and potentially last quarter of the Untrillables tournament run is going to take a miracle at this point to hand this point back over. It was an incredible run from them, but the window of opportunity is quickly closing here. The accuracies aren't high enough. The scores aren't going to be high enough as well. The lead firmly in the red side as Retail Store, and their consistency going to be taking them through as this map comes to an end.
Yeah, Retail Store is gonna close up shop in this match. Convincing 5-0 win from them. They are gonna go ahead and face Cookiezi Lovers in the quarterfinals conditional matches. So congratulations to Trito, Pixel Yoshi, and Ketsu. And well played to Lamp and Plausch for getting this deep in the tournament with only two players. Very impressive by them. Sad to see him go, but it had to be done.
Yeah, for sure. It's always sad to see teams go, but that is the nature of the losers bracket, and it is going to be Retail Store moving on, as you said, to that conditional match. Not out of the woods just yet, but halfway there, as I like to say. And speaking of halfway there, now firmly into the back half of quarterfinals weekend. We still have plenty more matches to come. Looks like we're going to have, looking at the schedule real quick. Actually, that conditional match that we were just alluding to, Cookie Z Lovers going up against Retail Store, going to be happening at 7 UTC. After that, we have Cactus going up against Kokodayo at 10 UTC, and then basically just a barrage of broken up one match blocks before we end it off with a triple header at 18 UTC tomorrow. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this match. Take a bit of a break, maybe get yourself some shut-eye, and we'll catch you guys in about 5 hours.
Later.